We've really isolated ourselves though as women, haven't we?
100%. As women, as mothers, I mean, a lot of women don't have community or friends around them. I mean, people are making friends for life through these retreats as well.
Beautiful.
And connecting with other women is so important. We've lost that magic of just sitting in circle with and the power of that energy when we sit in circle with other women. It is totally transformational.
I don't know where we stopped doing this, but somewhere along the line, because I'm pretty sure women were doing that at some point in time, and we just got too busy.
Too busy. Our support net, we moved away from families and friends and communities. We live in big cities now. So a lot of us don't have that support, and it takes a village. You know the saying, it takes a village. I wanted to create that village in real life, offline, because I feel like I've created a bit of an online village, but I really wanted to bring that offline for women who wanted to connect in person, which is something that I really, especially after the COVID years, we really crave that in-person connection.
We've somehow been at some point told that we shouldn't talk about things, that we should keep things to ourselves, which for some things in life might be true. I don't think you should necessarily go out there and tell people about your business plans or especially family, because they're usually like trying to protect you and save you from something that they think might not work.
Yeah.
But when it comes to our bodies and how, what we're feeling, that's where there should be more conversation.
Absolutely. And there is a lot more around hormones now, as you know, which is just incredible. We're doing a wellness retreat at the end of the year because as I share, as we evolve in different stages, I'm in my 40s now, obviously going into perimenopause and, going a little bit batshit crazy.
I got you there. It's okay. We'll be fine. We're going to be okay.
Yeah. So it's just navigating the different phases of women, and there's a lot more conversation thanks to people like you about this. And it is going mainstream, isn't it?
It is. It's actually really interesting that you say that. Look, I get goosebumps when we talk about it. I love that we are talking about it because it was such a taboo subject for so long. But so was infertility.
Yes.
When you were probably experiencing challenges, people weren't really talking about it, which is why you talking about it allowed people to go, oh my goodness, I can connect to that. Yeah. For some reason, especially perimenopause. Menopause, you kind of knew that person. You were like, oh, I feel like they're a bit heated today in every sense of the word. I feel like we, as a kid growing up, someone make a comment or you kind of knew.
Yeah.
But perimenopause is interesting. We're lucky that we're having these conversations. Our children are going to be very lucky.
Absolutely.
The conversation will be just out there. Everyone's talking about it.
Absolutely.
But I was talking to a patient the other day and I said to her, she was talking about period pain, and I said, is it a burning pain? And she said, oh, yeah, isn't that what everyone has? And I said, no, it's not, but you probably would never think to ask someone or even in a general conversation say, oh, my period pain's a burning pain. She didn't know.
That's right.
Why would you?
Yeah. I didn't even know that till now.
There you go. So everyone has different types of pain and we don't talk about it because we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
How would you ever know? It's not like you're going into the nitty-gritty. You just kind of go, oh, yeah, I get pain or I don't get pain.
That's right. You go to the GP and they don't really know, especially if you go to a male GP. They're like, they do your bloods. Oh, no, you're fine, you're not in. But it's like, well, they don't look at the symptoms and all of the things in between. So it is important.
And we always want people to feel be optimal, and I think that's where unfortunately, the system lets us down. But let's talk about your label. How did that come to be? Obviously, you said that it was a creative outlet.
Yeah, so I built my community and then I was pregnant with Poppy. I found in early motherhood I lived in my pajamas, but I still wanted to feel really good and be able to duck out the door or go to the shops or get the mail, and feel great in my pajamas. So I wanted to make women feel good, and I also had this drive that I wanted to actually do some good in the community. So I picked charities to align and donate 10% of all portions to various specifically mother-based charities. And we started on the kitchen table, and I wanted it to be local, sustainable. I didn't want to just be an influencer doing fast fashion and putting my name on something. It had to have meaning. It had to have fabrics, natural. I have a polyester-free philosophy. Still have locally made collections. Because we grew so fast, we did go offshore, but we have ethical factories and we still use bamboo cottons and natural fabrics, which is really important.
Can you explain why that's important to the person going, why does that matter?
I've been doing a lot of research about that. It affects your hormones. Polyester is plastic.
Yeah.
So we don't eat or drink plastic, but our skin is our biggest organ.
Right.
Dyes as well, we use non-toxic dyes because the dyes go into your skin as well. There's things you don't think about, especially because a lot of pregnant mums, I started designing that for breastfeeding and pregnant mums. Very important if you're pregnant or breastfeeding or trying to get pregnant that you're not putting toxic chemicals into your body.
And then finding factories or that whole production side of it that align with those ethics. How easy is that?
It's easy if you're doing it made in Australia.
Right.
If you're offshore, it's not easy.
But then doing it in Australia is quite costly.
It's costly. They can't do the volume. So we still have locally made collections. Our fabrics are knitted in Melbourne, all Australian cotton, and the garments are made in Sydney. When we went offshore, my previous role, I worked in marketing and television, and we did a lot of merchandise, and it was for the BBC. And they had to have SMETA approved factories that were above board because they couldn't be, using child labour or anything like that. So I had contacts to find factories that were above board in that way. And then it was speaking to other people in the industry to find factories that used natural practices and not, and there's not a lot.
No, that's what I mean.
Offshore. And it is more expensive, which is, you have to pass that on a little bit. So I'm not going to be able to compete with Kmart pajamas or anything like that.
I don't think that you want to.
No, you don't.
Well, you've got to stand true to who you are.
That's right, yeah.
Sometimes, it's interesting how people are like, oh, but you're not this. You're like, I don't want to be.
Yeah.
This is what we want to be.
Yeah, I mean, COVID was peak. Everyone lived in their pajamas, right? So the business just absolutely exploded in COVID. Then the last couple of years, my personal circumstances shifted, so I had to be more present in the home. So I was so grateful that I had a business that I could scale or not scale. So it was like, okay, this is not the time to scale. But now this year I'm feeling more in the flow and I have a supportive partner. And so now we're starting this year. We've got lots of incredible things coming for the label, which I'm really excited.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, I think also as we get older, we maybe move a little bit away from fast fashion and start to really think with our dollar.
Yeah.
But I think also there was a time where I didn't even have any clue about that even being something that I wanted to be aware of.
Either did I. Not until I became a mum. Actually, when I started my low tox journey I went to a fertility naturopath before I fell pregnant with Archie, and I did the 4-month preconception program, and I learnt about our environmental toxins. So I learned about the dishwasher tabs, the microwaves, all of the things, and including what we wear and what we eat, all of those things. It was life-changing going through that experience, and now you can't really, once you're exposed to it, you can't really go back.
You can't. And you obviously went and created something that you wanted, and then it helps when there are people there that want the same things that you want.
That's right, yeah. So I wanted something that made you feel good, look amazing, super comfortable, easy access to breastfeeding, all of those things, but also was not damaging your body or the environment.
Right. I think the dyes are a big thing too that we don't think about.
No,
They just compete with your hormones.
Yes.
Your body doesn't know the difference. It's just like, more hormones. Okay, awesome. Yeah. I'll just tuck that away somewhere. And maybe it's something that comes with getting older, but really making decisions about where I spend money, who that's with, and also supporting people.
Absolutely. I use my platform to support mums in business as well. And we have our mums in business retreat, which we do as well, because, it's going to be a little more expensive purchasing from small businesses, but what you're doing for them, for the community, for the economy, for our local economy is so important, because otherwise they're just going to be taken over by these big companies, and there's not going to be the small business and the opportunity to work around your children, if you start a small business. I really want women to have that freedom to be able to be around their kids while they're creating something for themselves as well.
And also in that creative flow, when you can find things that you love, that you're passionate about, it becomes easy, easier anyway. Yes. I don't think we can say that that's been, I'm sure there's times where you're like, this is not easy. Yeah. It ignites other parts of you.
Absolutely. I'm still so excited. I open a box of samples. I get so excited. Like, I'm really passionate about
But that also helps you to be a better mum, better partner.
It does.
Because you're creating things, and that's something that lights you up. I think when we can find what that is for ourselves.
Yeah. And also, I hire single mums.
Right.
Give them flexible working. To be able to create that and to help other people throughout, the process of creating something that I love is really important to me as well.
Yeah, there's a flow-on effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.